your freedom.
Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel here on Friday. That means it's the Friday Free for All. Currently, it's just me. We're waiting on Uman to slip into the room, and folks, we've got one heck of a lot of things to talk about today. It's going to require Oliver's help and to get through some of it. But I was provided an interesting speech from Christine Bihana out there, and I want to play it for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to the comments, and I would like everyone to let me know that you can hear it okay. This is someone speaking about the criminal, we'll use the term enterprise, the criminal organization that's been trying to kill us all. And I know that sounds kind of inflammatory, does it not? Well, it does, and it is. And currently right now, I just think it's more important to get the information out there than not. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to check in here. Oh, Oliver says the ACLU is now threatening the Supreme Court of the United States over terrorist deportations. Well, how about that? Threatened to file temporary restraining orders in all 50 federal courts if they don't hear it. Well, the ACLU is nobody. They're a bunch of anti-American scumbags, by the way. But I would like you to listen to this speech having to do with the World Health Organization and the pharmaceutical companies and their agendas.
And the live stream is waning, which means that if we just listen to my colleague Matthias, the best thing in the world would be to leave it to you, the people. Now it's up to you to share what clearly, based on the cavernous emptiness we see in all of these spaces, is only going to be heard if you share it. So it feels very appropriate that I should be the one with the quietest voice. But let's let that lion roar, shall we? I'm done talking about COVID, and I'm done talking about SARS-CoV-2, and I'm done for a very simple reason. For 110 years, we, the people of the world, have been lied to. We're a group, a very small number of criminal industrial conspirators decided to subordinate the entirety of the human population for the purpose of their sinister plans to enrich themselves while impoverishing and killing the rest of humanity. And I'm done being polite. We've long passed polite. When the words acceptable death rate become part of an industrial norm, we have lost the plot of humanity. And that's not my words. Those were the words of the World Health Organization and of Pfizer and of Moderna when they were given the authorization to begin the process of killing human beings in the interest of advancing their goals. Next slide. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat this. This is a criminal cartel. We are acting as though there's some sort of redeemable quality somewhere in some esoteric layer that somehow or another the World Health Organization must have some salutatory benefit. Well, I'm going to tell you, since its formation in the 1940s, the World Health Organization has been nothing more than a criminal cartel that has a sole and singular intent. And I will show you the document that proves what I'm saying. This is not an allegation. This is actually provable by their own words in their own hand. And they use a four-step process to execute every one of their nefarious plans. They begin by planning an exercise, then they go to the business of funding that exercise. Then they create the rationale for the thing that they're going to do, and then they deploy and profit from it. And in violation of 15 U.S. Code Section 19, which for those of you listening, coincidentally started with the Clayton Act in the same year that the World Health Organization in the United States, 1913, the same year the World Health Organization's progenitors also started. So I find it fascinating that we passed the Clayton Act in 1913, and we set in motion 110 years ago the criminal conspiracy, which we now call the World Health Organization. 110 years.
Okay, that'll be enough of that. I just wanted you guys to hear what is being said out there. The bad guys are definitely the bad guys. All right, we're all here. It is Friday. It is the free-for-all. We got a lot to discuss. Good golly. And the World Health Organization being called out for what it is. Woo! Okay, so what shall we talk about? It is the Friday free-for-all. And that means we're going to shotgun it back and forth. Me, you. And then Sunday Night Live. We're going to have our zoo. Same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time across the entire Prepared Mind network. Now, where do we start today? Where do we start? Well, this bald fellow that I was just listening to was talking about the World Health Organization. But let me pick another evil, right? It's interesting. Are we or are we not supposed to call evil out for being evil? And this story continues to be a huge one. It was what I talked about in Zero Dark 30 this morning. The mom who went viral across the world. She said, quote, I called the kid out for what he was, end quote. Right? Because this kid, she says, stole from her 1-year-old son. Now, the question I have for you guys is, why can't decent people call shitty people shitty names? Why not? If they're shitty people doing shitty things, should good people be able to call them whatever the fuck they want because they're awful people? You know, shitty people, they call good people terrible names all the time. And then they play victim and say, well, I can say what I want and there's free speech. And we're supposed to feel guilty because of whatever they claim their plight is. So this is a big topic. I'm hoping that we cover it a lot because I do not think it's about race or racism. Right? I'm talking about the white mother. Her name is Shiloh, right? Who called the 5 to 10-year-old thief, we don't know how old he really is, right? Supposedly with autism, playing the victim card, and the pedophile rapist who was hounding this woman, Shiloh, following her to her car. She's got a 1-year-old child with her, right? Threatening her that he's going to expose her, dox her, and have people come after her, which they immediately did. And allegedly all day long, Democrats have been making video after video about her because they can't believe that she said what she said, right? Using the N-word, oh no, with a hard R. Why can't good, decent people call shitty people the shittiest names available to describe them? When you see someone who's white trash, does anyone stop and go, we shouldn't call them white trash? That probably hurt their feelings. People are like, no, that's trash. You call them trash. Oh, okay, I got you. I got it now. But you can't call Hispanics any bad words, right? There's bad words. I think one of the worst ones I ever heard was wetback, right? When I grew up, that was a very common pejorative term, right? Is that okay? How many times was I called bad names in California by Hispanics? Right? I had no idea what a pendejo was. I just knew that when I heard that word, it was time for me to start running. Right? So why is it that other people can call names, but white people are not allowed to be offended, not white people, white conservative people right? Why aren't conservative blacks, why aren't conservative Hispanics, conservative Asians allowed to stick up for themselves and call bad people, shitty people, names that fit the profile they're in? It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with using a term that applies. And I wouldn't call a Russian you crazy Japanese man. No, I would call him, a stinking Russian pig, right? Because, well, that's just a name that kind of went with being a Russian, right? Why not? Right? If I can be called Cracker or Q-Tip or Casper or Ghost, Cotton Ball, Snowflake, right? I can't tell you how many, name it, Ice Cream Head, every fucking name in the book. And it wasn't just said, it was said with hurtful intent. Right? Why can't I do it then? Right? I'm sure that if someone called me Q-Tip, Snowball, Casper, right? Cottonhead, Ghost, right? Right. All of that is really, I think, kind of pointing at the fact that I'm white. And it was meant to be very negative, very, very hurtful to me. Didn't affect me, and people can still call me whatever the fuck they want. I don't care. But, oh, don't you dare, right? Don't you dare call a piece of shit who is black. Don't you dare call him a nigger. No, 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 right? Would you ever say something like that to Clarence Thomas? No, of course not. No, because he's not a bad person, right? That's a pejorative. It's a very negative, mean word when used in a very negative and mean way. Right? Same with calling a Mexican a wetbacker. Same with calling a Polish person a dumbass Polak, or calling a German a Nazi just because they're German, right? But if someone's a shitty person, shouldn't we? It's not about race. It's about identifying a piece of shit and calling them out instead of apologizing to them and giving in to them and being, what do you call this? Guilty. This whole idea that everyone else should feel guilty for slavery, which was ended 150 years ago. Right? Why are we still playing this fucking game? Because it works. Because other people like to play victim. A fucking black Somali man who's also a pedophile and a rapist wants to play the race sympathy card, the white guilt race sympathy, be ashamed of yourself card with an American. You see what I'm saying? People have had enough of this shit. And there's so much more to this story. And there's a whole lot more going on, by the way, around the world. So let's get into it all, right? Let's get into it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Mr. Uman, I think we probably got a couple of things to talk about coming out of the audience. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. It is Friday, and folks, we've got nothing but trouble. Diving Frog says, John, it's come to my attention that the evil ones are planning to add sulfuric acid to the mix they're already spraying in the skies now. I hope we don't need to cover our plants and veggies for safety. You may need to cover your plants and veggies for safety. Now, here's the deal with spraying sulfuric acid or just spraying any type of sulfur or sulfide. It combines with water, becomes sulfuric acid. If your pH is too high, then you add sulfur to your lawns. Right? If your pH is too high, it's too basic, too alkali, you literally add acid to your lawn. Where I was in California, the pH was super high, very alkali, good for your teeth, right? But bad on lawns, hard to do with lawns. So this idea of getting a little bit of sulfuric acid, right? Very common, very normal. In fact, in the state of Hawaii, because they have active volcanoes there, at least one active vent all the time. They actually get sulfur clouds, and then it rains, and people's paint in the big island of Hawaii, their paint on their cars gets ruined. And the plants in Hawaii look great. I wouldn't worry about your plants. I think what they're trying to do with the sulfuric acid, though, actually has something to do with the quantity of precipitation. The thing that really bugs me about it, diving frog, what they're spraying in the skies are these biochemicals, these the biohazard biological agents and microbes that they've got in it. You know, they would really have to add a lot of, just incredible amounts of sulfur to cause widespread damage. Not saying they can't do it, but I think they need to be called out on it 100%. Yeah, the whole sulfur thing. You know, why strontium? Why barium? Why aluminum? You know, I think they're just trying to kill us all over. Trying to kill us. Unbelievable. Okay, let's do this. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? What's on my board here? Let's see. How about everything is politicized now? We've been making this statement for months. What prompted me to think about this today was the fact that there's a lawsuit that's been filed on behalf of the Ashley Babbitt family. Ashley Babbitt being the woman, veteran, who on January 6th was invited into Congress, and she joined a bunch of rowdy people. One of them being, I think his name is John Sullivan, who is a Antifa / Democrat / BLM member of their media, was promoting violence. He was arrested, don't worry, and then of course he was released, not charged. But this guy was right there, right? So she was acting screwy and got shot and killed. Well, there's now a lawsuit, right? She was gunned down by a Washington, D.C. congressional security guy. Who he wasn't threatened, and it was just an incredible tragedy. But it's turned out that he's kind of a piece of shit. His name is Bird. He's kind of a piece of shit, right? Very barely competent, etc. But here's the deal. This is what got my attention. The judge that is overhearing this settlement, this case over her death, is a Biden-appointed judge. And the judge was screaming in the courtroom because, folks, everything is politicized. We have someone who's a shooting victim, and the judge is mad that the family of and their lawyers are suing over this death. They're not putting Bird in prison, but they want to, it's called a civil lawsuit, right? Wrongful death, whatever they want to call it. Why is the judge screaming mad? Why? What cause would the judge have? They're not a party to this, right? They're supposed to be an impartial judge. Yet the judge is screaming in the courtroom over what's going on, right? They want everyone silenced. They want gag orders. They want temporary restraining orders. They want all kinds of shit. What happened to justice? What happened to law and order? Well, everything is politicized. Everything is politicized. And judges are now showing us that they cannot be impartial, that they cannot be trusted, that they won't do the right things and make the right decisions. Everything is politicized. Everything. So you and I, we need to be prepared for that. Right? Everything is now causing everybody to have visceral, knee-jerk, off-the-cuff, unthinking, emotional reactions. Kind of like, I don't know, half the country when St. George Floyd managed to die of a drug overdose while in the custody of police. Right? All Democrats, it started a few years ago with these college kids, and I'm triggered, and that was a microaggression. Someone said the tiniest thing that offended them, and so they believe they can have a full-blown violent reaction to it, literally. And now it's not just brainwashed, retarded kids. It's not just the most radical of political agents out there, like AOC or Ilhan Omar or Cori Bush or Jasmine Crockett. Good God, these fucking people, right? It's even judges now can't keep their brains operating. They are completely radicalizing themselves, which kind of lends itself, in my opinion, to the idea that they're suffering from brain damage from the Jim Jones juice. Brain damage. They're making less and less intelligent decisions. They're making less coherent sense. They can't make an argument. And their responses to opposition are far more radical, loud, and even violent. And I think that what is going on speaks volumes in that area. I think that they are turning into mindless, violent zombies, even at the highest levels of authority, even at those highest levels, folks. What do you think, right? What is on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about? It is. Yes, it is. It is the Friday free for all, and there's a lot going on, and I want to hear what you have to say. Mr. Ooman, let's do it. Let's have some fun from the audience. Who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? And it's our good friend Redneck Roughneck. And he says, remember when the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, dared Immigrations and Customs Enforcement to come get the illegals housed above his garage? Wouldn't this be a good time to arrest a governor on the heels of two judges? Mr. Roughneck, I'm going to agree with you more than 100%, if that was possible, right? They've been taunting Trump. They've been taunting Department of Homeland Security, Immigrations, Customs Enforcement, Border Patrol, and all tax-paying Americans who are law-abiding. They've been throwing it in our face. Yes, the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, just like the governor of Illinois, Prickster, right? He's been taunting and talking shit. And this week, I believe he's actually encouraged both serious and dangerous violence, right? We've had other governors talk trash as well. I think that they should. Now, just yesterday, Tom Homan, right, who's in charge of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, let everyone know that these arrests are coming. And it's going to surprise people. I hope so. I don't know why they can't send one squad car to the governor's mansion in New Jersey, one squad car to the governor's mansion in Illinois, one squad car to Letitia James's house, one squad car, right? How hard is this? It's not like they're going to come to the door and start shooting back, which would be, in my opinion, very amusing and also tragic, but very entertaining, amusing, and illustrative of Democrat mentality. Right? Is it going to happen? I sure hope so, because we need more of these arrests, not to mention all of the Epstein arrests that we were promised and never got, that the files would be revealed and they never have been, that the names were there and then they weren't. And now the Trump administration, whether it's the White House or the Department of Justice, they're not saying a fucking word about the Epstein documents. But the really cool part here is, and I know I'm straying a little bit from what you're talking about, Redneck Roughneck, is allegedly, Virginia Giuffre, right, victim of Epstein, right, had a dead man's switch. Meaning, if she were to die for any reason, whatever she prepared for people, they would know to open it and do something with it. There's one guy on the internet who is charging money to get this information, and he's supposed to release it tonight. My thing is, why the fuck would you even take a chance with that? Why would you even announce that you have it? Shouldn't you just release the information? And not in just one place, but in multiple places. If I had that list, I would release it everywhere. I would send it to everybody I could and not keep it to myself. How much have we seen that type of shit going on? So whoever that fucking clown is an asshat. But apparently, yeah, she had a dead man switch. We're going to find out if it's real or not. The other thing with her is I don't know why she, knowing what she knew, witnessing what she witnessed, visiting and meeting the people that she met, why would she keep it secret? Why? What good has it done her? She's fucking dead now. If she wanted justice, all she had to do was get that information out there. If she was so despondent and depressed that she wanted to commit suicide, right? Why did she, when she could have got the information out there, and there'd be some more justice, that's for sure. Or, what else? What else could it be? Right? Well, she's going to keep it for herself. For what purpose? You see, that's the thing with information about criminality, is it needs to be released for everybody. Because when you have information, like imagine this. This is the U.S. Constitution and Declaration of Independence right here. What if I told everyone, I have a government document that guarantees the freedom for all men and women, freedom from oppression and tyranny, overtaxation, control, etc., to live the best lives in the world. I've got the formula right here, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to hide it. What fucking rocket scientist came up with that line of thinking, right? The Constitution is for everybody, and everybody has it or has the opportunity. These people holding the Epstein list, right? They're holding on to it because for them it's power, right? They're keeping that from us. They're withholding it. That's what government loves to do. Oh, that's a national security item. No, it's power, right? And if we have power, you and I as individuals, then we can be free. But they don't want that, right? Everyone wants to keep that power for themselves. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. That's why I like to come on here and share everything that I can, everything that I know, even talking about some subjects that are like the third rail, right? It already cost the other channel, the Prepared Mind channel. It's been destroyed, taken down, burned, and incinerated with nuclear fuel by YouTube. Luckily, we have John, the Prepared Mind channel, and we are on X, and we're back on YouTube, and we're on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll share everything I can about vaccines. I'll share everything I can about evil in government. I'll share everything I can about the evils in society. It needs to be done. The power doesn't do me any good. There's no value in it. The value comes to me in sharing with you. And likewise, I think when you share with me and we share with each other, we all benefit from it. There needs to be more of that if we can get it. In any event, thank you, Redneck Roughneck. Yes, I think it's time for the arrests to occur. And I actually think that they probably will. And the reason is they don't want to release the Epstein files. I don't believe they want to. I believe they want to hide that there are powerful people, extremely powerful people who are willing to kill, people who are willing to kill others if they're exposed. And I say, bring it on. Why is it that just poor people and average people and normal people have to suffer and die and go to war? Right? Why not these rich bastards? Let's put them out in the front lines. Make them answer for their crimes. Make them suffer the consequences of decisions that they've made. It's hard, folks. It really is hard. Let's do this, though. Let's continue on with some more good stuff. I want to hear everything you guys want to talk about. Literally, everything you guys want to talk about. Now, we've watched something over the last few years. The Democrats continuing to sink lower and lower and lower, defending rotten, horrible, criminal, and even trying to defend the indefensible. And they're doing it now. Right? They're defending rapists that rape children, which makes them pedophiles. They're defending illegals here selling drugs, kidnapping, taking over apartment buildings in even small towns. They're defending that. They'll fly out of this country to El Salvador to beg another sovereign nation to give criminals back to us. That's how stupid they are. And now, folks, now the Democrats are defending human smuggling stash houses being used by these illegal aliens, these criminal aliens, these terrorist aliens. The Democrats themselves are actually doing exactly that, just as Redneck Roughneck talked about. The governor of New Jersey has someone living in his house. This judge had an MS-13 gangsta in his house. The other judge, the fucking fat pig of a judge, who smuggled an illegal alien criminal from a courtroom through judges' chambers and out the back, trying to get him safely away. She was arrested for that. And by the way, folks, judges in these courthouses, they have escape rooms, and they have escape tunnels, and they have escape elevators, because they know what they're doing is not good. They have these built in. There's a brand new courthouse built up in Lassen County, extreme Northern California. Brand new courthouse. And yeah, they built escape tunnels in it, because I knew several people that worked for the court building, and they're like, holy shit, yeah. They want to make sure they can go in and out without being seen. And if they need to escape. Also reminded me of the time I went to the courthouse to deal with evicting a bad tenant. And the bad tenant in the courtroom became rather violent and threatening to me. And the judge himself jumped up out of his chair and ran out of the fucking courtroom like a coward. They're just fucking cowardly, these judges. But boy, will they use power against you. Enough of my shit. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about next. Right? The Democrat poll numbers are tanking. It's because they're defending these illegals. They're trying to get them back in here. They're defending having stash houses for illegals. This isn't the Underground fucking Railroad. They're not saving slaves from terrible Democrat slave masters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the plantation owners were Democrats. That's right. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Who was opposed to ending slavery? Democrats. Don't forget it. Who was opposed to the civil rights movement? The Democrats. That's correct. All right, man. Who's up next? Uman writes, can you talk about how the tariff costs are being misrepresented by the media like we talked about this afternoon? Yes, I will. Here's the deal. You've heard where someone pulls up and they go, hey, look at that cute little shot glass that John has. Yeah, he paid $20 for that. Right? John paid $20 to get this bullet in a shot glass. But in China, that actually only cost a nickel to make. 4 cents in raw materials and 1 cent to have the human being pick it up and stick it in the box, right? It cost a nickel, but it sells in America for $20. So this tariff, right? We're told, look out, there's going to be a 100% tariff on things from China. What did this cost to make? A fucking nickel? That's what the tariff is charged at, not what you pay retail. The tariff is on the material before it comes to America, before it's transported across America, before some ding-dong picks it up and puts it on a shelf, and before you take it to the counter to a cashier and have them ring it out and then charge you sales tax on top of that. So let's play this fucking game again. Costs a nickel. Okay. Sells for $20 because it's a novelty item. On that $20, you pay, let's just say, 7 cents in sales tax, 7% sales tax. 7 times 20 is what? $1.40. You're now going to pay $21.40 for this fucking shot glass. But instead of coming over here from China with no tariff on it, so it costs American companies a fucking nickel. It costs 10 cents. Holy shit. So it's not like you're paying 100% tariff on the $20 on the shelf price. It's 100% tariff on the fucking nickel. Right? And the same is going to go for everything. Purses, shoes, dishes, whatever other garbage comes from China, right? They make it over there for fucking nothing. They sell it to American corporations or American corporations that had it made for nothing, right? Ship it over, making a shit pile of money off of us, the consumer. We're the one that pays the big fucking markup. The tariff is small, right? It's the commercialization in America, the port fees, transportation fees, the retail fees, the cost, everything added on top of the fucking nickel. I mean, literally, what do you think it costs to make a pair of fucking sneakers? And they're going to sell them for $200, right? Like these fake Louis Vuitton purses, right? A Louis Vuitton purse that sells for 10 grand costs $20. The knockoff Louis Vuitton purse costs $20 to make, and they sell it for $100, right? They're still making big money. But it's the same purse. It's shit. Anyways, maybe the shot glass tariff was a great way to explain it. I don't know, man. What do you think? You're paying the tariff not on retail. You're paying tariff on what it costs to make the fucking thing. Uman says if you're buying from Temu, you're paying it on the cost of what you're paying for it. If you're buying it from a reseller, the tariff is only on the cost, not the markup. Brevity is the soul of wit. Thank you, Mr. Uman, for putting it out there without the detailed explanation. But I think sometimes, being detail-oriented myself, it helps to understand that, right? You're not paying a huge markup. The markup, if you turn a 5-cent shot glass into a 10-cent shot glass, your price isn't going to go from $20 and double to $40 to make up the difference. No, they can still sell it for $20 or $20.05 to cover the new improved tariff. It's political bullshit is what it is. It's political bullshit. Now, yeah, tariffs do matter. They do raise costs on an item like a car. Well, yeah, there's a lot more expense in building a car than there is in a shot glass. Tariffs will have an impact, yes. We're going to have inflation, yes. Are there ways to counter that? Yes, Trump's doing it. Is the world an easy place to live in? No. I had a very long conversation today with a young lady who said, I'm never going to own a house. This is terrible. I said, look. I said, how do you think I bought a house when I was 26? Saving and scrimping every fucking penny I could. Waiting for the market to take a huge dip. Buying and then improving the house with sweat equity, buying everything I could on sale, and then more sweat equity, right? And then waiting for the market to sail back up to the top and then selling it and realizing a profit and then being able to reinvest that again. You don't just get fucking handed everything. I'm so tired of these fucking millennials and these Gen Z people thinking that we were given everything, right? It's a ridiculous game that's being played. Everything is political, though. You see, people don't want to accept responsibility. They want to blame everything on everyone else. But such is life. There's nothing new under the sun. It's always been like this. People make excuses. They want everything for free. That's not how the world works. I tell you, it's interesting, folks. I mean, everything is so politicized now, and everyone is attacked just for being alive. In Germany, folks, the German secret police, I guess that's kind of like the Secret Service or maybe the FBI, the German secret police have now labeled the political party that's called the Alternative for Deutschland. The AfD is the German version of Make America Great Again. The secret police have labeled the German Make Germany Great Again confirmed far right. Interesting that the police would confirm that they're the far right. I do not hear anything about the far right Germans raping women, kidnapping children, selling children, selling drugs, robbing people, cutting their heads off, assaulting people. No, that's what the illegal immigrants do. By and large, that's what they do, right? Not the AfD. The AfD isn't out there stealing people's money and spending it on these illegals, right? So the AfD, Alternative for Deutschland, they want freedom and liberty back in Germany. And the people want it. So the AfD is now leading in the polls. But why say that they're confirmed far right? Why do that? Well, it's to smear them, right? But if the AfD is way to the far right, doesn't that mean that to recognize them far right, the rest of the political parties have to be far, 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 far left, right? I think far right is 5, 10, 20 times better than the far left communists. Now, once again, let's have some fun with it this way. Here's the far left, right? Far left communists. Here's their far right. Nazis or far right fascists. Way on the other side of the political spectrum, folks, is freedom, right? So, fascists and socialists and communists are all over here. This is far right. Freedom, liberty, peace, right? And anyway, it's all about labeling people, triggering people, virtue signaling, doing everything again, identity politics to get what they want. And then, of course, using fear, right? Oh my God, they're far right. They're trying to use that Nazi party stigma by claiming it was far right when it was right next to communism on the far, far left. Crazy world we live in, folks. Crazy world. Would you rather have far right freedom and liberty, or would you rather have far left communism and murder by government? Right? I know what I want. I want to be left the hell alone. I want freedom. I want liberty. All right. You have to pardon my cough there. Lots of talking this week. Ooh, man, who's up next and what do we want to talk about? And Redneck Roughneck says, one of my son's friends got married out of high school and expected a nice brick house, new car, and everything like her parents had starting out, and they've since divorced. Well, that's sad in a lot of ways, that they got out of high school and thought you're magically just given stuff. Now, I know there's a lot of wealthy people that I grew up with that were given nice cars in school. I mean, why would Clint get a just gorgeous 1966 Cobra Jet Mustang? The fuck did he do to deserve that? No, nothing. It's just parents were super wealthy. Why would another guy in his early 20s, why would he be given a fucking Dodge Viper? This is back when they first came out. What did he do to earn that? Nothing. He's fucking 21, 22 years old. Why are people given stuff? Well, because parents want to be nice. Folks, I know other young people out there. They think that they own their parents' property. They actually say, well, just give us the money, give us the money, give us the money. You're going to die and it's going to come to me anyways. There's a entitlement mentality and an entitlement perspective that's how it works. Well, the way it used to work is two people, man and woman, get married. They work their asses off, making a home, paying for the home, raising a family. And then when their children grow up, one of them ends up getting married and they live in the house and the parents live in one of the rooms and it becomes a multi-generational household. So the old man, granddad, and grandma help out with the kids, help out with the house, all right? And they share the expense and the burdens of work. But we don't have that kind of a world anymore. But these guys, and I'm sorry to hear it, Redneck Roughneck, they got divorced. They thought they were going to get everything, right? The new house with the white picket. I fucking heard this literally from a friend's daughter, that they wanted the new house and a white picket fence and a brand new Tesla in the driveway. They thought they were supposed to get that's how it works. That's not how it fucking works. But that's the world we're in, the entitlement world, where if everyone else has a house, I should have one too. Well, maybe everyone else earned it. It's crazy. And for those people that did get that, they were given nice cars. They were given their first home. Well, in a way, good for them. Good for them. Why should I begrudge them? Why should I grudge? Why should I care? They were fortunate. But they may not appreciate it the same way you would, because you went out and, well, as a roughneck, you fucking earned it yourself, right? You busted your ass and now you've got it. It's yours. And you can always say you paid for it. I don't understand why people, even though, hey, it'd be great if someone gave me a house. Now I've got to deal with maintenance, depreciation. I've got to pay fucking property taxes and the mortgage, and right, there's a lot that goes with it. Literally, these people, it's just the pride in doing something yourself has its own value, right? I can imagine going to a barbecue and some guy's bragging, my parents, they gave me a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house as a graduation present after college. You're like, yeah, well, I went out and worked for 10 fucking years and I had to buy my own house and I appreciate it a whole lot more. It's just my attitude, just how I think about it. Enough of my shit. I now want to talk about World War III. Oh yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Well, I've got some huge ass World War III news for you. The Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, said the Russia-Ukraine war, quote, is not going to end anytime soon. Well, wait a moment. Hasn't Trump been making deals with Zelensky and Ukraine? Hasn't he been working overtime, meeting with everybody? He met with Russia, met with Ukraine, trying to work things out. Well, a State Department spokesman said that the United States government is, quote, not going to mediate peace talks anymore. Why is that? Probably because they're tired of being lied to by Zelensky, shit on by Zelensky, double dealing, backstabbed by Zelensky. They don't want to give up the war, folks. Zelensky doesn't, because his masters at the World Economic Forum, his masters in the banking cartels, don't want him to give up. Europe has decided, or at least the uber elites in Europe in their ivory white towers, they've decided they want all of Europe to be in a war again. I call this murder and genocide. I also know that they don't want any of those poor immigrants that like to rape women and children. None of those immigrants need to sign up and be in the military. You want to talk about those people going back to their countries really quick? If they were told, you will put on a uniform, you're going to obey commands, you're going to do what you're fucking told, and you're going to go stand in front of the Russian military and let them mow you down like blades of grass, they would run out of that country so fucking quick. But I think the European governments are going to tell their people, get in uniform, go get killed by Russia. I'm glad that the United States government is not going to mediate peace talks anymore, because it has been a fruitless and pointless exercise. Zelensky is a liar. He is a puppet for sale. And all he's going to do is continue to waste time, berate our government, right? Belittle the president, and lie his little ass off, his little gay ass off. That's where we're at. That's absolutely where we're at. They want to murder Europeans is what they want. So I think that the United States of America is now one big step closer to getting out of NATO. Trump is doing a lot, folks. He's continued to do, and he's going to do a lot, right? Trump would do a lot more if he could get away with it, but there's this big problem, right? On his social media platform, Truth Social, Trump said that radical Democrats are weaponizing impeachment. And Trump wants the Republicans in Congress to expel corrupt left-wing Democrat lawmakers. So he's serious. That's what he wants. But is he going to get it? No, I doubt it. Right? And I think that's why Trump is demanding it. He's demanding the Republicans, get these people out of here. Have you heard anything from Maggot Mike Johnson? Senator Thune? Have we heard anything about? Are the rest of the congressional Republicans doing anything? No. Are they mad at Maggot Mike Johnson? No. Or they would throw him out. They would throw him out of his seat. The Speaker of the House is an elected Speaker of the House by the people of the United States of America. He's put in that place, in that seat of power by the Republicans or whoever the majority party is. So if the majority party doesn't throw him out, then they agree with what he's doing. And what is Maggot Mike Johnson doing? He's taking the coward's approach. He's not going to throw Democrats out. He's not going to expel them. Even if they're violent like Jasmine Crockett, or just fucking retardedly stupid like AOC or Ilhan Omar or Rashid Tlaib or any of the Jihad Squad, Hakeem Jeffries. It doesn't matter how rotten these people are, how violent they are. They're going to let them get away with it because they don't want to make waves. It's too much work, and they're cowards, right? I see this as 100% evidence that Maggot Mike and the Republican Party hate Trump, and they hate all of us Americans, right? Trump can demand that they expel Democrats, but I don't think Trump is going to call them out. I don't think he wants to call them out publicly and say, you guys are cowards and you won't do your fucking jobs, because then they become his enemy openly. Right. So what he's done is he's made the demand so we can all see, we can all hear his demand and then see that Congress is doing nothing. Right. It exposes them as shit-stained traitors. But it also makes Trump appear weak because the Republican Make America Great Again, patriotic, constitutional side of the political world is being ignored. The GOP, the Republicans, by and large, are a uniparty member. They're the good cop and the good cop, bad cop game that's being played. And that's all it is. It's a fucking game. It's really too bad that Trump cannot just throw these fucking people out. Oh, it's going to get nasty, folks. We've got identity politics. We've got race politics. We got all kinds. All kinds. And it's going to get nasty. And we're seeing it. And folks, right-wing, patriotic Americans are sick and tired of this shit, as evidenced by the nice blonde mommy, Shiloh, who's had enough of illegals harassing the shit out of her and stealing openly, brazenly in front of her, and then confronting her when she says something about it, pissing her off so badly that she finally blows her top and goes off and calls a shitty person a shitty name, which I think is just fine. We're going to get there one way or another. Are you prepared? Literally, are you prepared for what's coming? Oh, man, we've got just a few minutes left. Have you got yes, you must have a really good one. Mikey G says, the petition to expel Ilhan Omar, the Somali representative in our Congress. She says that she is for Somalia first. Unfucking believable. The petition to expel her from Congress has 300,000 signatures. That sounds sufficient. Today, a reporter was trying to ask her a question. Her response was, fuck off. Now, if she was being insulted by them, I could see, saying that. If they were insulting, if they were mean, if they were threatening, if they were following her in her house, I could see her getting a little more aggressive. But yeah, she can say what she wants. She can do whatever the hell she wants. And she'll get away with it. 300,000 signatures and growing. And nothing from Maggot Mike Johnson. Not even a recognition. You see, this is how politics could be used. Maggot Mike Johnson could hold a press conference. And he could hold up a handful of papers. Fuck, I don't have a handful of papers. He could hold up a handful of papers and go, here's a petition, 300,000 signatures to throw Ilhan Omar out of Congress. Either she's going to come and talk to me in my office about what the complaint is. Unless she does that, we will have a vote to throw her out. And he could put her on the hot seat, put the responsibility and accountability in her fucking lap. And Mike Johnson, the maggot, could look and sound like he loves America and he's listening to his constituents. How hard would that be? And then Ilhan Omar comes to his office and he goes, well, what the fuck? You want me to throw your dumb ass out? You want me to embarrass you in front of the world? You want to have a vote and see how many people fucking hate you? Then let's do it. Or you can shut your fucking yap, back the fuck up, apologize to America, and then go to the back of the class and just shut your fucking mouth. We're sick of your Somali shit. You can have that talk with her. Now, let's just say she said, fuck you, man. Okay, great. Then you go have the vote and you embarrass her and you throw her dumb ass out. Or if she's nice and goes, well, you know what? I guess I kind of like being in America and being in Congress. I'll just shut up. Great. Then Maggot Mike could come out and say, Ilhan Omar here wants to apologize to America for being a shit stain. And I'm going to not expel her dumb ass. Not yet. She has a chance to apologize and prove that she is going to represent America and not Somalia. Right? That would be politically expedient. It would get the point across. It would legitimize and validate the feelings of Americans that are sick of this shit from people from other countries. We could have a lot of fun, right? There's so many more ways they could communicate so much better. But they don't, because I guess they're just fucking stupid. That's what I guess they are. They're just fucking stupid in Washington. And that's why we are where we're at, folks. Everything has become politicized. It's become completely bifurcated and split. There's a chasm between those that want freedom and liberty, us the people, and those who want big stinking government. That's the Republicans and Democrats. And they won't fucking listen to us. There's going to be hell to pay, folks. And I pray that you guys are fully prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense. Tell you what, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to spare my voice, and I want to see all of you Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I always send out a link letting everyone know the show is coming. Unfortunately, on X, it doesn't show up until I hit the live button. In any event, have a great weekend. Get some rest. Get prepared. And folks, be prepared for some shocking surprises. There's much more to come.